Hello, very good afternoon and good evening to all of you. A warm welcome to all those present here who are joining this today's lecture talk. SRIVT, Srimaharshi Research Institute of Vedic Technology, as you are all familiar, is a non-profit organization established in 2005, and it has come through a long many years, and it is just completed ongoing 25 years and celebrating its silver jubilee. As a part of the mark of the celebration, we are having the series of talk, and today we are very happy to have Dr. Ulrich amongst us to give the today's talk. Dr. Ulrich is very familiar with the work that is going on at SRIVT and has much relation to the work. What SRIVT is trying to do is to bridge the gap between the Vedic science and modern science. And in this process, I happened to hear the lecture of Dr. Ulrich sometime back, and it fits very well with the talk, which what the SRIVT work is going on. I think we would like to listen to him, and before that, I request Dr. Mr. Karthik, Director of SRIVT, to say about SRIVT's progress, about SRIVT, more details to all those who are maybe some are new for the benefit of those, and then introduce the today's speaker. After that, we will request our today's speaker, Dr. Ulrich, to take forward. At the end of the session, we'll have 10 to 15 minutes question answer session, which will be coordinated by Dr. Krupanidhi, who is here, and after that, we'll conclude. So now I'll hand over mic to Mr. Karthik. Please take over.
Thank you, Dr. Raugal. Uh, Once again, good afternoon and good evening, everyone. Uh, SRIVT, which stands for Srimaharshi Research Institute of Vedic Technology, was established in the year 1999. And the very purpose of this institute is to do a research on Vedas, prove that there are advanced science and technologies in Vedas, scriptured, and that's what exactly we have been doing for last 25 years. And I would say we have pretty much done great because we have decoded a book called as Ancient Aeronautics, Vaimanika Sastra, into the local language, which is Telugu. And we also happen to develop some materials from that Vaimanika Sastra and tested with the current existing testing methodologies. And in this process, we have come up with corrosion resistant copper alloy. We have come across nano materials, the process of making nanomaterials in a very disruptive and economical and efficient way. Apart from that, we've also developed materials for various defense applications, and we've also started working on scientifically doing the Ayurvedic practices and proving them in success. Right now, we have two projects which we are doing for various funding organizations on cutting edge materials. So it's great to see that SRIVT has stood for 25 years, made air and other disparate domains, and successfully proved that the science and technology existed in ancient India or in Vedic sciences, and it is decoded for various reasons. So that's about our institute, and we are based out at Guntur. And coming to today's speaker, Dr. Ulrich Berk, he's from Germany, and He holds a master degree in philosophy of science and sociology from University of Erlangen-Nuremberg. Uh, he obtained it in 1974, and then he further pursued his academic journey and got his Doctor of Philosophy degree in 1976 from the same university, focusing on logic, mathematics, and psychology. Dr. Berk served as an assistant professor at Constance University, where he taught logic and methodology of science to students in various faculties. Subsequently, he transitioned into the field of business consultancy, where he worked for 3 decades. Since 1980, Dr. Berk has been actively involved in coordinating research on homotherapy, initially focusing on Eastern European countries such as Russia, Ukraine, Poland, and Yugoslavia. He collaborated with numerous Indian universities, including Palampur Agriculture University, Upi, and IIT Kharagpur, and many others. In recognition of his contributions to horticultural research and development, Dr. Berk received the Horticulture Leadership Award from the Indian Society of Horticulture Research and Development 21 and 22. Dr. Berk has delivered over 250 talks, invited lectures, keynote addresses at universities, and national and international conferences. So I would invite Dr. Ulrich Berk to please go ahead and give us your talk.
Some decades ago, I met Dr. Sastry in a conference in Pune, Ferguson College, and he listened to my presentation. I listened to his presentation. I was fascinated by he really read old Sanskrit texts and try to understand and to replicate what they suggested. And he developed several nano materials at that time, and I was really fascinated. And then we met. I went to the first institute in Hyderabad, and later also in Guntur, and so that was how we came into contact. Satish Kulkarni from Pune, who was instrumental to get this conference done. Okay, now Agnihotra Vedic knowledge in the light of modern science. This is Ulrich. I was already introduced. The introduction, maybe we can keep it very short, because nowadays everybody knows something is wrong with our society, with our with how we treat our nature, how do we treat our planet, and we have to do something. And as the problem is a big one, we can also look in all different directions and also look into Vedic knowledge, whether we find some solution for all these problems. This is exactly what we are doing. And now I concentrate on one aspect. Of course, Vedic knowledge is very vast field. I concentrate on one aspect, and that is Agnihotra and homotherapy. And so, what is Agnihotra? What is homotherapy? What is Agnihotra? It is Vedic fire. We perform it at sunrise and sunset. You need a pyramid, a copper pyramid at exact time, and the you need to try some trout side cow dung, some ghee, and also unsalted butter, some unpolished, unbroken rice, some mantras, and exact time of sunrise, sunset. Now it is easy. We don't need the calculation of sunrise, sunset because there's an app called Agnihotra Body, and Agnihotra Body, with a few clicks on the mobile, you get the exact time sunrise, sunset, exact to the second for every place where you are where you are there. And like now I'm in Delhi. In Delhi, it's a big city, so sunrise, sunset there's a big difference between east and west. With this body, you can easily do it. What happens, it is said that at sunrise, there's a flood of energies coming from the sun, and this flood of energies have a subtle music in it. And the quintessential sound of music is the Agnihotra mantra, which we utter at that time, and it's only for a very short time band. And this explains two things. One thing is why the mantras, it has to be mantras. If you would translate the mantras into English, for example, it wouldn't work because it's vibration, which is important. And second is exact time of sunrise, sunset. This is a slide from an American astrophysicist, and he says that at the time of sunrise, there is million ampere currents which head until to the planet, and at sunset they are leaving again. So modern science astrophysicists have confirmed that. So now how to do it? You know, this is a very simple, very small vessel, and you have to start the fire some minutes before the exact time of sunrise, sunset. And at the exact time, then you utter two mantras and you add some rice and ghee to the fire. The mantras are very simple. In the morning, it's Suryaya Svaha, Suryaya Idam Namama, Prajapataye Svaha, Prajapataye Idam Namama. And after Svaha, you add a little bit of rice, to which you add some ghee to the fire. And in the evening, it's Agnaye Svaha, Agnaye Idam Namama, Prajapataye Svaha, Prajapataye Idam Namama. That's it. Just 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening. Only thing is, you need to be a little bit disciplined because the time is of very crucial importance. Okay? What happens then? It is said there is a channel through all the atmosphere, and prana energy, life energy, comes through this channel, and an aura energy field is created around all plants and makes the plants stronger, disease resistant. And when the flame dies, the energy comes and is collected in the Agnihotra ash, and therefore Agnihotra ash has some healing power. We can use it for medicine, we can use it in agriculture, we can use it for many, many different purposes. So what are the benefits? Basically, nature comes back to harmony. The environment, atmosphere, soil, water resources, then biodiversity gets restored, food security can be maintained, and human health improves. So the effect of Agnihotra and Agnihotra ash on the environment, first the atmosphere. What's the effect of Agnihotra on the fumes? So one thing is biological atmospheric pollution. This is an experiment done in different universities, and that is very simple. They open a pit before Agnihotra for 10 minutes, keep it open, then send for incubation, and then you do the same thing after Agnihotra. And you see here before and after Agnihotra. That has been done, replicated in different different places, and also has been published in different journals. Now, particulate matter, that is a very important thing, because in winter, now I'm in Delhi, now is summer, it's not so bad, but in winter, always the particulate matter is so high, it's really, really dangerous for people here in Delhi. So what we did, you see here, I performed Agnihotra. There was a high volume air sampler, and then they tested how much particulate matter was before Agnihotra and after Agnihotra. And here you see the report. That was from a different university, that was North Maharashtra University. And so you see the particulate matter is during Agnihotra goes up a little bit, and then it goes down and stays at a level of, say, 30–40% less than before. And that is by just performing one Agnihotra. Means if you are in places like Delhi, you perform Agnihotra regularly, then it will go down more. And you see in this table also the chemical pollution, SOx, NOx, also goes down with Agnihotra. That is one possible explanation why that happens, could be the negative ions. You know that negative ions are known as the indicator of fresh air. And normally any smoke reduces the amount of negative ions. But you perform Agnihotra and negative ions increase. You know, we did that a long time back in Germany, and the engineer who had the instrument, when I told him what I'm doing, he said, "Is there some smoke?" And he said, "Oh, we don't need to make the experiment because any smoke will reduce the negative ions." And I said, "Okay, let's try." We tried, and then negative ions went up. And we have repeated these measurements now very exactly, and you can see here at Agnihotra, morning and evening, the negative ion count goes very, very, very much up. And that might be an explanation why particulate matter is going down when you perform Agnihotra. There's another explanation by some American physicist who said that the Agnihotra smoke maybe attracts colloidal molecules of ghee and cow manure, and gelatinously attract pollutants in the air, and in this way purifies the air. That is one possibility also. We have to do more research on that. Now, what about water? We have seen that water can be purified by Agnihotra ash, and this was one experiment done in Pune. Very simple. The scientists put a cylinder, glass cylinder with Agnihotra ash, and then they poured water, polluted water through the cylinder, and measured the quality of the water before and after. And here you see all the data, all parameters, and all parameters water was purified. And here you see percentage improvement, especially the count of bacteria. There was a reduction of more than 90% by just the Agnihotra ash. That was a report from Australia. A bore well, pH was 9.5, salinity 1150. This water could not be used. So these people just performed Agnihotra next to the bore well, added Agnihotra once in a week, and after 6 months, salinity went down from 1150 to 720. pH went down to 7.2. The water now can be used in the farm, and it can be used for drinking purposes. Interesting is, we have seen that you can purify your drinking water, you can improve the water quality of a bore well, but even a big water body like a river. This is Narmada River, close to Maheshwar, next to Indore. There we have a Homa place there, and a lot of these Agnihotra fire, other fires are being performed there. And there was a research checking the water quality, some upstream, some downstream, and the homotherapy place, you see the second last row, Maheshwar homotherapy, the water quality there is better, significantly better than all the stations upstairs, upstreams and downstream. So that Agnihotra, if more and more people are performing it, it has an effect also on big water bodies. Now soil. One thing is, people often do not realize how important the soil is. So let us look at an old Sanskrit text, more than 3,000 years old, which says, upon this handful of soil our survival depends. Husband it, and it will grow our food, our fuel, and our shelter, and surround us with beauty. Abuse it, and the soil will collapse and die, taking humanity with it. And according to the FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, already now we have lost 1/3 of world soil since 1960. And they say if we would continue with conventional, means chemical farming, in the year 2050, we would only have 25% of the soil per person, and that would not be enough. So the soil has to be rejuvenated, and it has to be rejuvenated from the bottom up, from the microorganisms, viruses, bacteria, fungi, and so on. And healthy microflora and microfauna has been created. One experiment done in Ratnagiri, and they showed that if you add Agnihotra ash to the soil, nitrogen fixing bacteria are increased 100 times, and phosphorus solubilizing bacteria even 1,000 times. And that means, normally in agriculture we always have this formula NPK. With Agnihotra and using Agnihotra ash, you do not add these NPK to the soil, because the soil can produce these things itself. Then other soil microbes, this was an experiment done at Central Institute of Subtropical Horticulture in Lucknow, and they added Agnihotra ash, and pathogenic fungi did not grow after Agnihotra ash, and the control, they were multiplying. On the other hand, beneficial microbes, they grow better if Agnihotra ash is added. Some other experiment that was done in Unnao between Kanpur and Lucknow, the soil was very much alkaline, sodic, pH was 9.86, and they added Agnihotra ash. They made 3 plots, one conventional with chemicals, one organic with vermicompost, one organic vermicompost with Agnihotra ash, and you see after one season the pH with the conventional farming was the same. With vermicompost organic, it went down by 0.8 point. That's already quite good. But with Agnihotra ash, the pH went down by more than 2 points in just one season. So now with this pH, everything can grow. And on the other hand, this was experience in Poland. The soil was very much acidic. pH was 4.4. Agricultural engineers said nothing will grow there. They still did. And you see they grow everything, including tomatoes. Nobody does that, grows tomatoes in that area. And also later on, we checked and the pH was normal. And most likely for the change of the pH, bring it down if the soil is sodic, bring it up if the soil is acidic. Probably there are some microbes involved which may be activated and multiplied by Agnihotra ash. That would be a very interesting field of study for all people in soil science. One more aspect regarding agriculture is the soil organic carbon. Now everybody talks about climate change, global warming, and so on, and everybody says, oh, CO2 is a big culprit. Okay, farming nowadays, conventional agrochemical farming, contributes to, say, 30% to the release of CO2. 30%, that's quite a lot. That's more than transportation, for example. But with Homo organic farming, and in India, normally the soil organic carbon is less than 1%, and mostly it is less than 0.5%. Now, on the other hand, if you go for Homo organic farming, the soil organic carbon increases, and we have seen in a farm in Germany, we have more than 10%, a farm in Poland, we have more than 15%. So that would mean we can sequester the carbon, take it out from the atmosphere and store it in the soil. And that would also make the soil more productive. The soil health would improve. Effect of Agnihotra ash on plants. That is a very simple experiment. Everybody can do it. You take some seeds and put them in some petri dish, some and add water, tap water one thing, and then tap water with Agnihotra. But and of course you see there will be better growth, root length, shoot length if you add Agnihotra ash. But that is not really a fair comparison because any ash helps, because any ash has nutrients. So what we always do is when we have an experiment with Agnihotra ash, we also use something which I call control ash. Control ash is ash where we burn the same substances, cow dung, ghee, some rice. Also, we burn it in some copper vessel because copper could have some catalytic properties for the combustion process, but not the specific disciplines of Agnihotra. No, not at this time of sunrise, sunset, not the pyramid shape of the vessel, and no mantras. So you see, control ash, yes, works better than just tap water, but Agnihotra ash, there's still a big, big difference. So that means the process of Agnihotra itself, that has some effect. And this shows the different growth, again, germination of seeds, but not adding Agnihotra ash, but keeping the plants near Agnihotra. So if you keep plants near Agnihotra, they grow better, as you can see here, and the control was without Agnihotra. Then in farming, there were many different experiments at Palampur University, Himachal Pradesh. They checked, for example, production of lemongrass, quantity increased, oil content increased, disease resistant included, improved. And then there was a series of very good solid experiments done at Dharwad Agricultural University in Karnataka. 4 MSc theses were concentrate on one crop, was tomatoes, cabbage, soybeans, and okra. And they tested many parameters, mainly yield, pest and disease, and the quality, the nutrient content. And they had wonderful results with all the 4 crops, reduction of pests and diseases, increasing nutritional value, and that's very important for our health, and then also higher yield. So that was a very important result. And now, that is also important for farmers, because farmers, when they shift from conventional farming to organic farming, they have one problem. They think they would, at the beginning, have a drop in yield, and they often, small farmers, they can't afford that. So it is good now we have 1 PhD studies which shows that if people go for organic farming with Agnihotra, then the profit of these farms will be higher than the farms of with conventional farming. And this was a survey of 450 farms, half conventional, half organic with Agnihotra, from the south, Karnataka, middle, MP, and north, Chhattisgarh. And here you see the effect. Conventional farming, most of the farmers had per season, per acre, a profit of 18 to 20K, but 16 to 20K. But with Homa organic farming, most had 26 to 30, and many had more than 30. So it shows that Agnihotra farming is really something which helps the economy of the farm. So it is easy for the farmers to shift from conventional to Homa farming. What are the mechanisms? Why do plants grow better and give better yield in Agnihotra atmosphere? There was one experiment done recently, and that was measuring the photosynthesis activity. And so somebody came, measured photosynthesis activity in a place where Agnihotra is being done since 2 decades, and then compared it with the same plants some kilometers away. And here you see the details. And Agnihotra, the plants in Agnihotra show all the different parameters, beta values. And here you see the leaves, left side in Agnihotra atmosphere, right without Agnihotra. It's obvious they grow much better. Some experiments on human health. This was an experiment done in Germany recently in cell culture, and it said, first experiment showed that there's an inactivation of free radicals. Second thing is that the mechanism for defense is increased, and the cell vitality also increased if you add Agnihotra ash. They added Agnihotra ash not directly in cell culture because these particles they could disturb. So they added Agnihotra ash to water, and then after 24 hours they sieved out the ash and used the water. Now another interesting observation was done recently in Lucknow University. We sent them leaves from tulsi and from curry leaves, and for control, same leaves, tulsi and curry, from outside. And they prepared extract of these leaves and applied them to cell culture of cancer cells. And they could see that the viability of this cancer cell was was reduced with Agnihotra, with the plants which grew in Homer atmosphere. And now, as that was quite a promising result, we are going for more research. Also, we will add 2 more plants, Tulsi and Bel, and also examine more parameters. So now, we also have seen this slide. Agnihotra ash, increases the growth of the germination of plants. Now the question is, how come? What can be the mechanism, how it works? Why is Agnihotra ash increase the growth more than normal ash if you burn the same things, same substances? So we analyzed the Agnihotra ash and compared with control ash. So one such comparison was done in Amalner, that is Maharashtra. They did infrared absorption of Agnihotra ash and control ash. And here you see the graphs, and you see the Agnihotra ash graph, it is the blue graph, shows 2 very significant peaks which are not there in the Agnihotra ash. Most other peaks are similar, but there are 2 additional very clear peaks. So there is some difference in the Agnihotra ash as compared to control ash if you look at infrared absorption. Now, another experiment, this was actually done by Dr. Sastry at the lab of SRIVT. Dr. Sastry was there. Dr. Kartik was also involved in the research. And here you see the graphs. And again, you see there is a big difference between control ash and Agnihotra ash in UV visible light spectroscopy. So spectroscopy shows also you can see some difference, and that is the very tiny differences. So that would be good to repeat this thing. Now let's look at more subtle structures of water. So because we have seen that if you just have water sitting next to Agnihotra, it gets purified. And if you add Agnihotra ash to the water, it gets purified. If you add, if you just keep the water next to Agnihotra and the fumes of Agnihotra influence the water, it gets purified. But now, what if you keep the water just in a closed bottle next to Agnihotra? Also, it gets purified. And we had one interesting experiment done. We kept the water, distilled water, in 10 bottles. 10 bottles we kept in the lab, and half of these 10 bottles we kept in the lab, and the other half we kept in a room where we perform Agnihotra. And after 5 days, we added 1 drop of E. coli bacteria to all the 10 bottles. And we checked what is the growth of bacteria. After 1 day, the water bottles which were kept in the lab already developed 375 coliform forming units, and not detectable in the water which was kept in Agnihotra atmosphere. And after 5 days, the bacterial growth was very much in the water which was kept in the lab, but not so much in the water which was kept in the Agnihotra room. And after 5 days, the water which was kept in the Agnihotra room was still less than after first day of the water kept in the lab. So that means the water, although it was, the bacteria exposed to the Agnihotra atmosphere, it was just water. And only afterwards bacteria were added. So there must be some change. And what could this be? What could the change be? It could be some electromagnetic properties of water. And we did some tests in Eastern Europe long time back, and this was shows the graphics of the electromagnetic permeability of the water, and you see the there was a clear change. The tap water in Agnihotra atmosphere is blue. The distilled water in Agnihotra atmosphere is black, and the aligned water not affected by Agnihotra, no Agnihotra, and average. So that shows Agnihotra changes magnetic properties of the water. And this was another experiment. What they did is they had an aquarium, and the aquarium was filled with water, of course, no fishes. And we had, one is the distilled water, that is the lower graph. Second thing is distilled water with bioenergized water, means that people were sending healing energy to the water. And number three is the Agnihotra, which was exposed to Agnihotra, and they measured the light absorption of the water. And you see, again, Agnihotra is higher than the others. Now, interesting to see how water, the quality of water can be also shown by a technique which one Japanese scientist tried. That is, he took water and let it drop on a glass plate at very low temperature. And normally, if there's good quality water, you see nice crystallization, like here. But if the water is from a tap in the city, there's no crystal formation. Here left, you see left side Tokyo water, right side the water from a nice, from a very good source of water spring. And here you see, if you add Agnihotra ash, also you see these nice crystals. This is an Agnihotra ash water crystal, very nice. So that shows on a more subtle level you have energies. Now, one thing is the Agnihotra field of the energy field of Agnihotra. We see that Agnihotra, if you keep water next to Agnihotra, you close the bottle, no ash goes inside, no fumes go inside, still the water gets purified. Now, that means there must be some energy field which purifies the water. What kind of energy field? We made some experiment. We kept, you see here, right side, we had maybe 30 bottles with water. 10 we kept in the lab from the beginning. The rest, half of them were in the Agnihotra room. Right side just in the bottle, and the left side we kept these bottles in metal containers. Metal container acts as Faraday cage, and so for 5 days we kept the water samples there. After 5 days we brought all the bottles back to the lab. This is the configuration, and we compared the results. And interesting is that all the bottles which were kept in the Agnihotra room, the quality of water was much better. Just look at the last row. The coliform count went down by 68 to 70%. And interesting is there's practically no difference between the bottles which were kept in a Faraday cage and the bottles which are kept outside. That means that the energy field of Agnihotra must go beyond the electromagnetic range. So if it's beyond the electromagnetic range, that is a challenge for physics, because they have to understand, okay, if not electromagnetic, what then? We could say it's kind of prana energy, but physics does not know much about pranic energy. It has to be measured first. We do not know yet. So that is an interesting field for more research. Okay, I will one last point mention, and then I finish, open for discussion. That is harmful radiation, radioactivity. After Chernobyl, most of Europe was affected. Germany was affected. Austria was affected. There's one farm where they had a Homa organic farm, and at that time, all the produce was checked by some government officials, and farmers could not sell anything before they got cleared. So in one farm, it was Homa organic farm, the inspectors came, took samples of milk and vegetables. Next day they came back and said, what are you doing? Because all other neighbors, all the farms, their level of radioactivity is quite high. But on your farm, it is normal. It's okay. You can sell your produce. What are you doing? And they told them about Agnihotra, but these inspectors, they didn't understand much about it. But that showed Agnihotra neutralizes this radioactivity. Now, one experiment we did sometime later after Fukushima. After Fukushima, there was one institute, the Academies of Sciences in Kiev, Ukraine, Institute of Physics. They had developed a small instrument, you see here, which measures radioactivity of food samples it's a matter of a few minutes only. It's very handy. Normally it's quite complicated. So some scientists came from Japan, from Fukushima, because they were interested in this instrument. So they had brought some radioactive rice from Fukushima just to test this instrument. And I was there in Kiev at that time, and I was talking to these scientists, physicists, and I suggested, okay, please take this radioactive rice, add Agnihotra ash water, and wait, and every day measure. They did that, and each day the radioactivity went down, and after 8 days, it was gone. I mean, we only had the background radioactivity. And that is quite interesting, because normally you cannot influence radioactivity. It is only two ways, fission and fusion. And fission is little difficult. You have to bombard the nucleus with high energy neutrons. And fusion, that is even more difficult, because you would need high pressure and extremely high temperatures. So that is normally not available. So how can Agnihotra change radioactivity? There is no easy explanation in terms of modern physics, but there were some results that was done in Kiev University and Moscow University, and they could show with the help of certain microbes, there could be a transmutation of radioactive elements. And so this is maybe how Agnihotra ash could help. This study is still not done yet, but that would be one way to do that. A lot of more research is necessary. I would be happy if some scientists could come up and do that, and will be happy to help with that, supplying Agnihotra ash and so on. So I think I finished in time. It was a lot of stuff, and see, uh, my main aim in giving this lecture is uh, I hope that some of the new scientists are interested to help and work in this field, cooperate for more research, because it is a very promising field of research. We are, I would say, still at the beginning, although we have already results in different areas, but these are preliminary results, and much more still has to be done. Some references, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ulrich. Thank you very much for your illuminating talk. I would like to hand over the mic to Krupanidhi to coordinate the question answer chat box.
Yeah.
You can summarize them and post to Dr. Ulrich on behalf of the speaker, on behalf of the participant, and those who have not given in chat can do directly also.
So thank you, Dr. Rao Garu, for allowing me to have this session, and many thanks to Dr. Ulrich Professor Berk for having given wonderful illuminating talk on this Agnihotra and Homa thing. And one or two incidents I will tell before starting the question answer session, sir. In South India, the farmers, they rejuvenate their soil by burning some of the waste, what is it called, waste harvest on their soil by putting that they do periodically, sir. The other thing is we are having a festival by name Bogi Festival, where we are putting what is it called, flame in front of our house. All of us sit around the flame, sir, in the house, and that happens in all villages nowadays, in small towns also. Another aspect is in our India, several of the rishis or some spiritual leaders, they offer only ash to their devotees. Keep this along with your food, keep this along with your water. So that's what Agnihotra, ash, and Homa therapy, as you very well pointed out, that Vedic system. The Vedic system is still continuing. But apart from that, we are given wonderful examples quoting several of the experiments in biology, particularly the plant growth, particularly the air purification. So in airborne bacteria are there, like tuberculosis bacteria and streptococcus bacteria. So they're all being neutralized by this negatively generated points of this Agni. And several other points like the germination of these seeds. That is also wonderful with regard to the shoot length and others, what you are mentioning, water purification, and several of the experiments. And these are all the experiments that one can practice. So now the session is open for discussion.
Agnihotra for drinking water. So what I suggest is to add Agnihotra ash to the drinking water regularly in the evening and drink it in the morning. So that is what I suggest. I also suggest that to do it with RO water. RO water, okay, the particles are removed, like viruses and bacteria and so on. But the water is, I would say, it's without any energy and no minerals. So if you add Agnihotra ash, both the minerals are given back, and also the life energy is back there.
Sir, one question, Dr. Urlesh.
Yes.
How do we use Agnihotra ash in home gardening or farm?
Okay, in home gardening, you just sprinkle the ash to the plants. And especially if you have some problem with sick plants, you mix Agnihotra ash to water and spray the water to the plants. And then in farming, adding Agnihotra ash is fine, but you don't have enough ash for that. So you add Agnihotra ash to the irrigation water. In this way, the effect goes to all the plants.
Yeah, another question is very interesting. Tonnage quantity of ash may be necessary for practical use in big farming fields. How do you get the tonnage of ash?
See, it is not that is not exact science, because it is not the chemistry which is important. It is some energy of the Agnihotra ash. So normally for drinking water, I would say half a teaspoon per liter is okay. But if you have a big farm and the irrigation water, it's several cubic meters of water, you just add as much as you have and stir it, and the effect will go to the water.
So with regard to the static bed or fluidized bed, how this practical fluidized bed, static bed,
Okay, yeah.
how is this applied, Agnihotra Basmam?
Yeah, you just add Agnihotra ash to it and mix it, and then you will get the effect.
How do we integrate Agnihotra in home domestic use drinking water?
I mean, the drinking water, normally you keep in a container and then you add Agnihotra ash, say a teaspoon, half teaspoon per liter. That will do. And best do it before in the evening, and next morning you drink the water.
Yeah. So another important thing is most of the people are appreciating your talk, sir. One of the senior Professor Redana from Central University, Hyderabad, he has given a good comment. Amazing presentation highlighting the benefits of Agnihotra and Homa therapy in every spectrum of life. That is from plant side, from health side, from soil side, from environment side. You have been speaking, sir. To validate these findings scientifically beyond a doubt and harness the benefits of home therapy, dedicated institutes to be established for research and training in different parts of the world. So that's what his comment, sir, observation.
Yes, I thank very much for this comment, Professor Palu Redana. And of course, the question is, will you be interested to help for that? We depend on scientists who are interested in the subject and who can carry out such scientific research. We have a lot of preliminary results, but most of it is still preliminary. So in the different fields. So it would be very good if now here many scientists, if those who are willing to do some research could connect, and we bring it one step further. I would be very happy about such cooperation.
So another speaker who spoke in the last Saturday, sir, Professor N.B. Brindavanam. He's a plant biologist. He has given a question. However, we may not be using it to resolve all the problems, but limit to one core application. What should be that core application, and how we will be scale up the process to meet the core application?
There are so many aspects of Agnihotra in all the different fields. So definitely one thing is now is microbiology, and then also botany on the cell and molecular level. And now some institutes are working on that. During my trip here in India, I met with many scientists, and some are interested to do work in this field. So I see some good hope that within half a year we will get some more of these results. In agriculture, we have, as I mentioned, there are 4 MSc studies done in a very systematic way in Karnataka, Dharwad University. I think what would be needed now would be a project on field or on farm level, actually on farm level, so that we could see on farm level it really works and farmers could come there and see. We have a few farms which work and where farmers can come. The only thing is that was not done systematically with the control farm. The control farm would have been also prepared in such a way.
So one of the gentlemen by name Mr. Abhay Desai, he was mentioning that he's practicing Agnihotra daily by using the ash for seed treatment, water treatment, and also for drinking water.
Yeah. When I mentioned that there are some Homa farms where farmers come to see, the farm of Abhay Mutalik Desai near Belgaum in Karnataka is wonderful, and many people come, many farmers come, and for farmers, of course, that is the best to see how these methods are working, not just in a lab. For farmers, that is not so interesting. Interesting, yes, but it's much more convincing when they see in a farm itself. And on this farm of Abhay Mutalik Desai, you can see all these things. I was there recently, 1-2 months ago. We were filming the results because we want all.
Hello, sir. Hello, Dr. Berk, sir. One of the other important thing is you were mentioning about the health benefits. Here, one madam by name Dr. Nita Ganguli, she was mentioning the cure of kidney failure patient.
Which patients?
Kidney failure patient.
Kidney failure.
Yeah.
See, I'm not a doctor of medicine.
Yeah.
But if you're interested, there is a web page, www.homahealth.com. And on this web page, you can see a lot of research, of reports, and I'm sure there is also some reports referring to kidneys. But this is not a scientific experiment. That is just collecting research reports in the different fields. So we have reports of healing with cancer, with asthma. Asthma is a very interesting thing because normally asthma people can't stand any smoke, but Agnihotra smoke is different. But with kidneys, I don't remember. I do not know personally people who got healed. But there is a possibility. But in general, we do not promise any healing. We just say, try it out, and there's a good chance that your condition will improve. But we do not have a systematic research of that yet.
So there is one request from Madam Vandana Sharma, sir.
Okay.
So she says, I am having asthma, allergic to dust and smoke. Can I perform Agnihotra as I am scared of worsening my sickness with smoke from Agnihotra if it does not burn properly?
One thing is perform Agnihotra. There are ways to perform Agnihotra so that there's less smoke. But even if there is smoke, several people got healed from their asthma by just performing Agnihotra. I had an interesting experience. One uncle, he was having heavily asthma, really bad. I see Dr. John is raising his hands, so we should answer his question soon. But about asthma, this uncle, I invited him to come for Agnihotra, and he asked me, oh, is there some smoke? I said, yeah, there will be some smoke. And he said, no, then he can't come. And so I said, okay, you just come and you you leave the room as soon as you feel a little bit uncomfortable. And he said, okay. So he was sitting there, and there was some smoke. He was sitting there all the time. And at the end, when we went out, he said he could not believe it. He did not feel any irritation, the smoke. Instead, it was even soothing, the smoke. So the Agnihotra smoke is different from any normal smoke. Now, what is the difference? Just recently, I talked to a nanoscientist, and he is willing to do this experiment to compare smoke of Agnihotra with smoke which you get by burning the same substances. Probably doing with different techniques to see what is the difference in this. There must be a difference because people feel it different. So you can start Agnihotra. I would say if you want to be careful, first let somebody else perform Agnihotra and you sit a little bit away from it. So if whenever you feel a little bit uncomfortable, you can leave, and then later on you perform yourself and try to perform the fire in such a way that you have less cow dung. For that, it's good to apply ghee to the cow dung pieces so that you have a very nice combustion.
So another request from Madam Nisha Agarwal, sir. So our doubt is half a teaspoon to 1 liter of water. This put the ash in the evening and keep it overnight. Consume it the next day. Hope she is correct. Something like that.
Yeah. That is exactly what we suggest.
Very good.
Swaroop.
Hello, Dr. Ulrich. This is Swaroop here.
Okay.
I'm very happy to listen to the conversation, and I also started doing Agnihotra recently. But I have two primary doubts here. One, with two kids at home, many of us, we may not have time to do it, or we are not religious enough or strict enough to do all this stuff. So I just wanted to know, if we do it once, how long will the effects last of the Agnihotra ash?
No, wait. If you perform Agnihotra properly, means exact vessel, exact time, exact ingredients, and so on, the ash of this fire you can keep for a long time. Just keep it in some glass container or clay pot, not in metal, not in plastic. So the ash keeps for a long time. That's not a problem. The effect of Agnihotra, okay, normally at least it will be there till the next Agnihotra. So from morning to evening, from evening to morning. But if you can't perform Agnihotra every day, morning and evening, okay, that's a pity, but what can you do? It's better to perform Agnihotra from time to time than not at all. But still, if you say you don't have so much time, you know what many people have experienced, they are busy nowadays. Many people are busy, and but if they take the 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening, then that day becomes better structured, their mind becomes clearer, and in the end, they even save time. So it's a good investment in time, these 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening.
Thank you, Dr. Ulrich. Also, I have a small extension to that. Generally, when I start doing this, and when I talk to other folks of my age group, all the young generation and all, the moment we say something related to mantra has to be done and all that, we see these oppositions coming. It is all religious stuff and all that. So from your observation, what I wanted to know is it more the power of the mantra or the ingredients when we are performing Agnihotra?
No, it's all together. It is all together, and it is all about sound, vibration, and resonance. And if you don't do the mantras, then it is not Agnihotra, it will not work. By the way, there were also some experiments which showed you have to do everything correct, otherwise you don't get the full effect. So But interesting is, or you could explain, it is like it is vibration. And if you translate the mantra into English or in German or whatever, you do not get the effect. It has to be exactly that vibration of mantras. And, you know, it is, if people feel it's not familiar for them, okay, there are tens of thousands of people in the West. For them, Sanskrit, they even often didn't hear about Sanskrit before, but they do the mantras and they get the effect. It is about not believing, it is just about experiencing. So experience Agnihotra, do it correctly for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, but correctly. And then you will see the effect. If you see the effect, if it helps you, then you continue. If you think it doesn't do anything, then you forget about it. You don't have to believe anything, but you have to perform it correctly. Otherwise, it's of no use.
Yep. Thank you, Dr. Ulrich. Just wanted
Sure.
to add that I'll be editing this video, so I just wanted to get these doubts out so that it will be helpful for others also. Thank you for explaining, sir.
Okay, sure. Can I just, I
Okay.
see one question from Samyak. Samyak, he asks, how can common people at different places know right timing of sunrise and sunset? That is very easy. Now see, can you see this Agnihotra body? Is it visible? That is an app. Also, I just type it in the comments. That is an app available for both iPhones and Android phones. It's for free and it gives you the exact time of sunrise, sunset, wherever you are. Okay, and then there was my friend from Kerala, Dr. John. He raised his hands and he had a question. Maybe down there it's already sunset time because.
Give your
Berk
question. Okay, sir.
from Jaipur.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I requested, sir, next visit, you are coming to Jaipur also. We
That
will
is the plan. Yes, that is the plan.
you
Yes.
big program of Agnihotra. There was one gentleman, he was telling about the kidney failure case about Agnihotra. Yesterday, I did attend a seminar presented. There were a lot of doctors in that seminar. In that, a case study was referred, and where the kidneys, both the kidneys were shrinked like very much, and the gentleman was very influential. And you see, he remained in the hospital for 8 months together, and nothing could save him in the hospital. But he could survive after the Agnihotra homotherapy given. So yes,
No,
in kidney failure
right.
cases also works. Yesterday only I
That
attended
is
that
really
seminar.
great. So I see Professor Madhuri Sharon has raised her hand. So, and I'm very happy to see you and to hear you.
Yes, thank you. First of all, thanks for this lecture, and it's very nice that you see this through the eyes of a scientist. So that was the most interesting part. My question, question, it has been asked in a different way by somebody, that we have been seeing that you are having thermal energy and you are having sound energy there, and of course there is light energy also. These three frequencies are working together. All your experiment is done with all the three energies working together. Have you ever done any experiment where you have stopped the mantra, so at least one frequency is stopped, and then what would be the impact? Just do the physical material things and not the sound mantra. If you use along with it, then what would be, or have you done it already and you have not told me, or I didn't get it?
No, that has been done. Actually, there was a series of experiments where they changed the procedure of Agnihotra in the different ways. For example, one was no mantras. Also, they did mantras in translation, in English, for example. And then they, in order to measure the effects, they took the resulting ash and used them for these ashes for germination of seeds, and they could find only if you perform everything correctly, only then you get the effect of Agnihotra. So if mantras are not there, you don't get the full effect.
Okay, so I think in between I saw one question coming up about the how loud or should it be louder, the mantra. What I feel, doctor, that it's not the wavelength, it is the frequency that is important when we chant these mantras. So I don't think the loudness will have any impact. Do you?
I agree with you. Yes, it is not
It's
important
frequency
to
that
sing
is.
it loud. It's the frequency, yes, the vibration, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Achha, one more thing, you talked about the E. coli, I mean, coliform bacteria, which are usually harmful for us. Suppose if we use it, how would it decide which bacteria to kill, which is harmful for us and which is not? Would
That
it
is a
kill
very
even
good
the good
question.
bacteria?
Yeah. That's a very good question. There is some intelligence in Agnihotra because some bacteria are harmful in one environment and beneficial in another environment. So that would be a challenge for some very interesting work in microbiology. It has not been done. I have suggested that topic to several people, but till now nobody has started.
So one of my students is working on carbon nanofiber, which is biogenic in origin, and she is working on it, using it as a fertilizer, delivery system, and she uses it in the soil, and that alters the soil's water holding capacity. What about this? Because this is also a carbon-rich material. I don't know whether it is in bhasmas or in molecular, sorry, in nano forms also. That's what I've read some papers. So does it affect that quality also of holding water when you use them
Yes.
in the for the plants?
Yes, this we have seen that the water holding capacity of Agnihotra and also of former farming, just the energy of Agnihotra, the water holding capacity is increased.
Okay. I mean, there are 1,000 questions I cannot stop asking you, but I think we should give chance to others. And thank you very much for this wonderful work that you have done, and you are doing it. Best wishes to you.
Thank you, and nice
Thank
meeting
you.
at least.
Mandar
Yeah.
Kopare. Mandar Kopare.
Good evening, sir. Dr.
Hello,
Ulrich, sir.
Manda.
Yeah.
Oh,
One
Manda
question.
also.
Yeah, even Manoj is there on this call.
Nice to see
Thank
you all.
yes, yes. Thank you for that day's session in Airoli. Just wanted to know one question. I think that question was left by from my end to ask you. So you've been doing Agnihotra since 45 years. How
Yes.
we should maintain this consistency? I've been doing since last 14 years in Mumbai. Uh, how we should maintain this consistency because there is a huge gap. You've been doing it since so many years. How people can maintain this and what is that thirst kept you keep on doing this for so many years?
See, for me, it was never, after I started, it was never a question whether I should continue. It was just obvious. So, I don't know. If you have to give it a try. And as I said, try it for 2 weeks. But for these 2 weeks, you have to make the decision, okay, I will perform Agnihotra, even if sometimes it's difficult, like I come back home late and in the morning, still I get up. Yes, do that for 2 weeks so that you get the full experience. And then you continue if you feel it benefits you. People who have performed Agnihotra for 2-3 years, then they stop, and then there was a problem in their life, health problem, emotional problem, whatever, and then suddenly they remembered, oh, there was something which helps, and so they started again and then continued. But now I have a situation because sunset here in Delhi is after 12 minutes. So I have to go and prepare for Agnihotra. So I would be happy if we could wind up the session. And
Okay.
if people still have questions, they can ask these email or whatever
Yeah.
to the organizer, and I'll be happy to answer them. Okay?
Thank you, Dr. Ulrich. I think we'll stop here and profusely thank you for your time for so much you have given us. And I request all whoever is interested, please pose your questions to the SRIVT, and Dr. Sriram will coordinate and get you the answers. He will interact. Dr. Sastry, when he joins, he will interact with Ulrich and get you back the feedback. But now you can write to SRIVT your questions. And I thank you, Dr. Ulrich, and all the participants who have actively participated, given your inputs. Thank you all. Thank you very much for your sparing your time. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Dr.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Shivanidhi,
you.
Dr.
Thank you, sir.
Ulrich.
Thank
Thank
you,
you all.
everyone.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you,
Thank
Dr.
you, Karthik. Thank you.
Okay.